102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:33. And Cheap Trick with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. Man, what an amazing day this could be today. Partly cloudy with a high of 79. And then for tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 84. I said that right. 84. It's 45 degrees right now in downtown Springfield. Springfield Thunderbirds are going to get set to come home to the Mass Mutual Center for Friday night against the Providence Bruins. We will have a 4-pack of tickets for you, and we'll tell you all the details about winning those in just a few minutes. Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rock 102 is the expert of all things
2 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:52 and Night Ranger on Rock 102.
It is going to be nice and sunny today with a high of 75. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 80. It's 45 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
You know, People magazine doesn't just crown the sexiest man alive, they also choose the world's most beautiful person. And this year, it's 62-year-old Demi Moore. Is it Demi Moore or Demi Moore?
I don't know. You ever driven a semi tractor trailer?
Demi tells people how she used to torture herself to stay in shape. Quote, I was so harsh and had much more antagonistic relationship with my body. And straight up, I was just really punishing myself. Now she has a more intuitive and relaxed relationship with her body. Quote, I trust when it tells me it needs something to eat, that it's thirsty. I listen to my body today, and I have a lot less fear. When I was younger, I felt like my body was betraying me.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
If you pull my finger, you can hear my body.
I bet you can. And because you have uncontrollable toots. And so I just tried to control it, and now I don't operate from that place. It's a much more aligned relationship. She said, I'm not perfect. I still do drink Red Bull. I do love it, but not many. Just one.
Well, that's all she really needs.
Energy drinks are the worst thing for you.
Terrible for your teeth.
Is that true?
I don't know.
I think it's just bad for your, you should take some to get that arrhythmia. You know, you ever go into that arrhythmia again.
Yeah, that's what I need. More stimulants.
You need 3 Red Bulls and a stacker. A little ephedra will probably get your heart rate back right where it needs to be.
Steve, are you trying to push me out the door?
No, I'm just saying. I'm offering tips.
Because I can foresee a heart attack or stroke as a result of all that Red Bull or 5-hour energy drink.
That wouldn't be on me. That would be on the idiot who took the Red Bull and the stacker. Pete Davidson has removed 30% of his tattoos so far and has spent over $200,000 doing it. I wonder, clearly it was expensive to get those tattoos. But the ratio to remove versus the ratio to just keep them.
Plus, it's a long and painful process. But his tattoos were kind of like a hodgepodge collage of ink, as opposed to anything that had any, I don't know, any thematic issues with it. It was all over the place.
He says it'll take him another 10 years to complete, which he hasn't even gotten to his torso and back yet. At that point, though, why bother taking them off?
Because I think now he feels like it represented a different time in his life.
But
when he said that he was like a drug addict. Yeah. That would explain the SpongeBob smoking a joint on his back.
But I would keep them on there going, okay, I've seen, I don't know how you light that under the sea like that, but to me it would be just like, listen, this was the stupid things that I did when I was younger, and it's just a part of my life, as opposed to let's try to erase everything that I ever did.
Unfortunately, I made that same mistake over 250 times.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. You know, $200,000 could be used for other things.
Well, he's got it, so, I mean...
I guess so. Actors have to do nasty things sometimes. BuzzFeed put together a list of some gross behind-the-scenes facts from movies and TV shows. What's your favorite gross TV show? Nicole Kidman apparently peed on Zac Efron for real in the jellyfish scene of The Paperboy
Really?
to make it authentic.
I love that method acting.
Yeah, I don't know
in order to feel the emotional connection of taking care of a jellyfish sting, you have to actually take care of the jellyfish sting.
Nicolas Cage ate a live cockroach for Vampire's Kiss.
Again, Nicolas Cage, fairly good example of a method actor.
Well, the only thing out of character for that was he had it in mid-afternoon. Usually he has his cockroaches in mid-morning snacks. That was out of the ordinary for him.
Did that bust up his intermittent fasting?
Yeah, I would think so. Will Ferrell had to film the spaghetti scene in Elf twice. He threw up during the first take. Because he poured maple syrup all over it? Is that what it was?
Or how fast did he eat it all?
Halle Berry didn't shower or take a bath for 2 weeks to get into character for Jungle Fever. Gross.
Okay.
In Night of the Living Dead, the human remains the zombies had to eat were made of ham and sheep organs covered in chocolate syrup. The zombies were played by crew members, investors, friends, and bystanders.
Now you're making me hungry.
When Gunnar Hansen played Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he wasn't allowed to wash his costume. He wore it for 12 hours a day in over 100-degree weather. Man, he must have smelled pretty good. And during the family dinner scene in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the table was set with real rotting animal carcasses. They filmed for 26 hours straight in over 100-degree heat.
That's gross.
It didn't make the movie any better.
No, it's like... I mean, did you... Were you worried about not getting everything out of the actors? Other than their entrails?
Danny DeVito ate raw bluefish in Batman Returns mixed with mouthwash and spirulina? What is that? Oh,
I don't know.
Algae. That's gross. Christian Bale...
Bluefish isn't easy to eat even when it's cooked.
You have to cook it the right way.
Yeah.
Christian Bale ate real maggots in Rescue Dawn, and Rainn Wilson would eat something smelly like a tuna sandwich before he had film kissing scenes with Angela Kinsley on The Office. See, that's just a prank.
Yeah. But still, would you eat maggots for a job?
Nah, I don't know. It depends on how much money I was getting.
I wouldn't. There's not enough money for me to eat maggots for anything.
But you haven't been put in a situation where you've been given a contract for, let's say, a couple of $1 million. And this, I'll eat a couple of maggots if I have to.
Well, you're right about that.
Let's see. We're almost done here. We're trying to smooth it out till we get to the Kim Kardashian thing.
Here we go.
Kim Kardashian has reportedly been in talks with Warner Brothers to star in the remake of the original The Bodyguard movie starring Whitney Houston, although Kim would not necessarily be playing a famous singer in the new version.
Well, she must have something to say.
Oh my God, the last time I grabbed my ankles and presented like a baboon in heat was when Ray J stuffed his yogurt thrower into my stunkle slit skin and a shot of let me try this over again, okay? Oh my God, the last time I grabbed my ankles and presented like a baboon in heat was when Ray J stuffed his yogurt thrower into my stunkle slit skin and shot a game of smear pong across my back in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39. Sometimes it's so hard to get out of my mouth.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Yeah, that means two things.
I just felt like sharing that.
Caitlin?
Well, I never got that down and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but she once earned the title Master of the Kegel exercise. She could ungulate that fish purse till it looked like a set of elf legs squeezing a thigh master.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is she would grab onto my tan banana like a Chinese finger trap. And when
you can't get it out of there.
When she finally let go and I arrived, I hit her with more shots of tzatziki sauce than a Greek dart team. Is it tzatziki?
Yeah, tzatziki. Yeah.
Tzatziki
You did it right.
I like the Greeks.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, and that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102.
Hey!
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, tonight is the opening round of the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. an annual event in which teams around the league pick the best available college players to fluff up their rosters, fill vacancies, address their deficiencies, patch up holes on both sides of the ball, and most of all, pick specific players before anyone else gets a crack at them. Now, as you may know, the Tennessee Titans will have the number 1 overall pick and are expected to select quarterback Cam Ward from the University of Miami. Once that happens, the Cleveland Browns will make their pick, followed by the New York Giants, and then the New England Patriots. Who are the Browns and Giants going to pick? I'll tell you who. They're going to pick the 2 guys that will no longer be available by the time the Patriots get on the clock. The question will then be, who's left? Then that question will then provoke other questions, such as, who are the Patriots going to pick? Will they pick a receiver? Will they pick a lineman? What about that guy with the short arms? What about picking a guy with normal-size arms? Who are the best available players with normal-size arms? Is there anyone available in the draft with abnormally longer arms? Are there going to be any sort of appendages that the Patriots should be looking out for? Will the size of these appendages matter? I've always been led to believe it doesn't, but I'm not the guy in charge of choosing the number 4 overall pick. Now, you should be aware the Patriots have 1 pick in the 2nd round, 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, none in the 6th, and 2 in the 7th. A total of 9 picks, at least for now. Because, of course, they could trade a pick to get more pick, take that pick, and pick something else. They could also stay put, not trade any of the picks, and hope that these 9 guys work out. Because remember, some of those guys in the later rounds work out pretty well, including some of the greatest players in NFL history. Does the name Tom Brady ring a bell? If so, then you might want to buckle up, folks, because it's going to be a hell of a ride. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Benjamin Moore. Ever hear of him? Of course you have. It's America's most famous paint, for crying out loud. And for good reason. May not be the cheapest paint, but it's super premium. And once in a while, every now and then, Rocky's has a special deal. Get 20% off Benjamin Moore interior paint right now at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 6:14 and 38 special with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
It is going to be, where am I got here? Sunny today with a high of 75. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 80. And then rain on Saturday, like all day long.
Yeah, it's sad. So what are you going to do?
But nice night tomorrow.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Yeah,
you're damn right about
Thunderbirds
that.
are go.
Thunderbirds won last night in Providence, 2-1. Goals by Zach Dean and Matt Luff, and so it's because it's a best-of-3 game series. They could end it tomorrow night.
Well, let's hope they do.
Yeah, because when it comes to like an extended game series, I don't like getting to the point where you got to play that final and deciding game.
The whole 3-game thing. I like a long drawn out 7-game series.
Yeah, but this is still the play-in series.
Yeah.
They'll get into all of that later, but for right now, if they can beat Providence on Friday, that's it. Providence goes home, and the Thunderbirds advanced into the regular rounds of the playoffs. So that's exciting stuff.
Thunderbirds got a fast start in the opening period, and then rode their star netminder to a 2-1 triumph over the Providence Bruins on Wednesday night in Game 1 of the Atlantic Division's first round. Springfield now has a chance to punch its ticket to the Atlantic Division semifinals with a win on home. A win on home.
On home ice.
On home ice.
That's how you recover a poorly written sentence.
Friday night at 7:05 p.m., the T-Birds wasted little time asserting themselves in the offensive zone in the opening minutes in their first Calder Cup playoff game. Dalibor Dvorsky and Zach Dean immediately impacted as Dvorsky skated across the Bruin line and dropped a pass off to Dean. Man, the action.
It almost sounds like you were there.
Well, I pretend to be there.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yes. This is exciting stuff because we have a 4-pack of tickets that we're going to give away later on today.
Yeah.
And it's all for Friday's game. And so there you go. And if they continue to advance into the Calder Cup playoffs, I'm going to make these broad assumptions that we may have more tickets to give away.
I would hope we do.
Again,
that's what we.
it's a broad promise. I get that. I hate to promise too much and underdeliver, but I mean, we got a good relationship with those guys.
Well, we do. And as much as of a pain in the ass it is to give away tickets because it's only two of us here and one's got to push the doohickeys and the other one's got to take the information. It's not fun. It's not fun to do that. But however, I will make it fun for this particular contest.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you going to do that?
You have to call up and I say, what's the phrase that pays? And then you come up with something, and then, we can do.
Well, what should be the phrase?
It's not I'm just kidding. It's not.
We're not going to do that?
We're just going to do the regular
okay.
thing.
Yesterday, we had Nate Costa from the Thunderbirds here in the studio. Now, for those of you who have ever met Nate, you might just make the assumption that he's just another pretty face. But I'm telling you right now, he is much more than that.
He's a comedic genius.
I'm thinking he needs to be at a dinner and a comedy show to at least do a good 4 or 5 seconds of comedy.
He would be even good enough for the $30 dinner and a comedy show, not the $20 one, the $30 one.
Because the dude made us choke yesterday. That was so funny. At the end of our interview, he did a little thing that you may hear in promos or what have you.
I suggested something that we did a few years ago when it was another name for this show, where I said, hey, maybe we should interview a player every week and then ask him about sharing his wife's toothbrush. To which he replied, yeah, we could do that. What's your favorite toothbrush story?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was so fun. It was so well done. So the timing was so perfect.
Yeah.
I went upstairs after the show, and there were people upstairs raving about it. Like they couldn't believe that he said it. Because I don't think they think that that Nate is hilarious.
He doesn't come across. He comes across as a very mild-mannered guy. He's a businessman and he's a promoter. Like that's what his kind of roles are. You don't expect I don't know. You don't expect like a Chris Farley type of fumbling personality in a position like that.
You don't expect him to have 5 good minutes of A-list material where he could work in any room in America.
Oh, he's probably got tons of material.
You're
it's all hockey jokes.
Yeah, you probably look at him and you think, okay, male model type of runway stuff. But that's not what he does. That's not his bag, man. His bag is taking an opportunity and slamming it to the ground.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he did yesterday on this very show.
And I think he would do. He'd do well tonight at the shortstop.
Now, what is that all about?
Well, usually it's a $20 dinner and a comedy show.
Yeah,
but this week it's a $30 dinner and a comedy show because the extra $10 is going to the Whip City Animal Sanctuary, which is a great organization out in Westfield that takes care of animals that the owners can't take care of them anymore.
Right.
Maybe they've had some injuries or something and are nursed back to health, but they can't quite make it on a regular farm. It's kind of like it's the farm team.
Will kibbles and bits be on the buffet menu today?
It's stuffed shells.
Gainsburgers.
So no,
Chuckwagon.
We're not having smoked meats.
You're not having meat byproducts.
It's going to be salad and stuffed shells, and it's going to be a good time.
All right, I believe you.
But that happens tonight. There's not that many tickets left, so if you want to get a ticket for tonight's show, you should go either message me. You can email me at steve@rock102.com, or you can go to my socials and find the poster and get the QR code because it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight.
Now Will Nate Costa be closing the show as the headliner that night tonight or what?
He should. Well, we'll give him 5 minutes. I've never seen him actually on stage before. So we'll see if we can offer him the ability to do 5 minutes.
Man, I was floored. I did not see that coming yesterday. I mean, I could have seen it like you and I had done.
Yeah.
But to know that he did it. Like the last guy in the room you'd expect to have the best line of the day.
This is what I was telling you. For all the people who be like, the guy hasn't even worked here in 3 years. Why are you still harping on it? Because we do that bit every morning now at 9:10.
Right.
And but the other people who get involved in it, and it's not just Nate. I was saying yesterday, it was the tow truck guy that's making the videos for us who did that thing with the dumpster going, what's your favorite in the dumpster story? That kind of stuff. It's a guy calling up on open lines last week.
Yes.
He said, or 2 weeks ago, he said something about that, and it makes us laugh when other people do it.
The thing to keep in mind when people say, well, that guy's been gone for three years, why are you still making fun of him? That would be like saying, you haven't lived with your mother in 15 years, but yet you're still carrying all this baggage and all this hurt and all this dysfunction.
Yeah,
what are you doing that for?
It's called PTSD, and that's how we deal with it. That was like my personal Vietnam right there.
It's
6 months out in the field.
It's PDSD.
Yes,
yeah.
PDSD, and that was a personal war zone for me.
It was
for 6 months.
That was our Vietnam.
Yes, and we will continue beating the dead horse until it's more dead than it was.
So congratulations to the Thunderbirds. 4-pack of tickets coming up a little bit later on this morning. It's 6:20.
What's your favorite reference to that?
It's 6:23 on Rock 102.
What's a credit union?
This week on Baxy's Musical Podcast, my guest has been Christian Dryden from the band The Ritualist. Their latest album, Too Pure to Cure, came out this week. Their third album. It's absolutely terrific. Next week, my guest is Mark Burgess from the band The Chameleons. He's been on the podcast before. That band is coming to Boston next week at Big Night Live, and they're working on their first album of new material in 21 years. Great, great band. And you can hear that starting on Monday on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, as well as the app. It's all brought to you by Metro, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Yeah, you ready to laugh?
I'm ready to laugh, Steve.
All right. Well, maybe we should go somewhere else because I don't think this is going to be funny.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
How many incels does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know, Steve. How many incels does it take to screw in a light bulb?
None. They just sit in the dark blaming the bulb for not screwing them. You see, because they're girls and they think they're women.
I
Totally
understand it.
All right. Oh, yeah. Push the button.
Okay.
There you go.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Here's your 6:30 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news, and it is brought to you by Yankee Home Improvement. If you're thinking about a new walk-in shower system, call Yankee Home and mention Rock 102. Get $1,021 off plus 50% off installation all month long. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Holyoke officers arrested a 15-year-old boy last Friday for allegedly possessing a large-capacity firearm. Holyoke Police Chief Brian Keenan said that on Friday, April 18th, shortly after 12:30 p.m., an officer received a report of a gun call at 36 Ely Street. The victim stated that an argument had allegedly broken out and the suspect flashed a firearm located in his waistband. The suspect then allegedly left the area in a vehicle. Officers then located the vehicle connected to the incident at 563 South Summer Street. The car was parked and occupied, and the driver was detained and later released. The passenger was detained, and officers recovered a firearm loaded with 28 rounds of ammunition and with a 30-round extended magazine in his waistband. Highlights?
This sounds like a very naughty boy.
Field and Stream.
Mm-hmm.
He was positively identified as the suspect in the incident and arrested. Due to the suspect's age, his name and charges will not be released. Speaking of magazine, I saw I took a picture of this. I went to this place last night down in Barkhamstead. You ever go to Barkhamstead, Connecticut?
Not intentionally.
It's actually not a bad area down there. The Shooter Bible.
Huh, okay.
I remember all those parables in the Bible about shooting. Thou shalt shoot your neighbor.
Thou shalt not leave the house without my FID card.
Thou shalt shoot your parents if they disobey you.
Thou shalt not settle scores.
That's right. Thou shalt shoot somebody if they steal from you. Thou shalt shoot the man who coveted your neighbor's wife.
Thou shalt make a man dance.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty good. Didn't they all had guns back then, didn't they?
Good Lord.
The Shooter Bible. It's a whole Bible dedicated to shooting.
Is there an Old Testament, and there's like a book of Revelations where the number of the beast is actually the serial number on the gun, or is it a ghost gun?
Ghost? Yeah, they might have to update that for that reason. Here, the death of the woman found near the bike path around Springfield's Hall of Fame Avenue is getting more than an official investigation now. While social media buzzes about a potential serial killer, it's important to note that no official has tied this unattended death in Springfield to other investigations. I read this whole article last night from Fox, I think it was Fox News.
Yeah.
About how, people are like, wait a minute, there's another death in New England area. It was a female. This must be connected to a serial killer.
Not necessarily.
You can't really say that. I mean, you can have many other deaths that are similar in nature that are not connected to a serial killer. It just happened to be that that's the way they passed away, or that's the way they were killed.
Remember a couple years ago there was a major international pandemic going around?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Well, a bunch of people got very sick and died. And a lot of times, in certain situations, if people died, they just naturally assumed COVID. That was the cause of death.
Yeah.
Even though it may not have been anything to do with COVID, sometimes they got assigned that was the cause of death. Here, somebody gets killed, and we just automatically leap to the idea that it might be a serial killing. Now, it could be, but there's probably a better likelihood that this is just your everyday, run-of-the-mill, mindless, senseless killing.
But it might not even, when they use words like unattended death.
Yes.
Many times, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but many times that means like an overdose. Or if somebody died and just died.
Died alone.
Of natural causes or whatever. In fact, law enforcement in other states say they can't tie death investigations in their areas to this so-called serial killer. You may have seen over social media, followers are becoming detectives. In fact, in just the past week, a Facebook group known as New England SK, for serial killer, they wanted you to know that, was created and is already up to 19,000 members. They're attempting to tie suspicious deaths or human remains in multiple cities in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Eastern Mass back to one mastermind at this hour. Those concerns have been disputed by law enforcement across the region. Now the suspicion has grown to our portion of the Bay State. Within that New England SK group, multiple posts are wondering if this alleged serial killer may have struck here in Springfield. An unattended death investigation is currently underway after police found an unresponsive woman near a bike path on Hall of Fame Avenue on Tuesday morning. She died after they found her. It's unclear how she died, but an autopsy is being conducted by the medical examiner's office. You can't really say it's a serial killer tied if there's really no indications that it was done in the same fashion.
Remember we were talking about this yesterday, and we were talking about these keyboard investigators that think that they know everything about every possible case?
Yeah.
This is exactly what we're talking about here. There's this compulsion for some people to feel as though they, and they alone, are the ones who are going to crack this case.
Well,
except when you wind up attaching things that may or may not have anything to do with what the case is all about. And you just leap to judgment that it must be connected.
I watched these Karen Reed people, the Free Karen Reed movement. They don't. The problem is, I'm watching these videos. Great, you make some valid points, but the problem is you're not backing it up with any evidence. It's basically a hearsay type of thing and a theory. Basically, it's just a theory.
You're also not really part of the investigation team.
Right.
That's the other thing. You're a dude who's sitting there with his phone or about to record another podcast from your basement and talk about something that you might not be fully qualified to talk about.
You know what makes me believe you more? When you use that Erin Brockovich clip where she's, don't tell me I don't know about these plaintiffs. I know about these plaintiffs because I've been studying them, whatever the line is from the movie.
Right.
That makes you an expert.
It really doesn't, actually. It doesn't make you an expert.
It's kind of frustrating because everybody wants a little piece of their
It's frustrating, but the incredible part about it is those true crime podcasts or blogs or websites or social media pages, People love that stuff. Not just the people that are initiating the content, but the people who are actually absorbing it. They get obsessed with that kind of thing because it's compelling stuff.
It is compelling stuff, but again, you're not on the jury either. You're not an investigator. You're not a lawyer. You're not even on the jury.
But I saw the highlights on the news.
Yeah, I saw the highlights, or I watched it. There is so much more that goes on behind the camera than what everybody is seeing during these types of trials and media frenzy things.
Right.
The West Springfield Police Department is saying goodbye to a trusted member of their team. Canine Rado is retiring on April 24th after serving 7 years at the department. His partner during his tenure was Officer John McCarthy. In an announcement by the West Springfield PD, Rado is being recognized for his many successes, including narcotics and evidence searches, missing person cases, criminal apprehensions, high-risk felony operations, as well as less urgent service calls such as alarm checks, presence patrols, and canine demonstrations.
I got to tell you, 7 years in the job, that's 49 years in human years.
Yeah.
And I can't even think that way.
Rado began his training in patrol and narcotics detection, where he went on a bender for a couple of years, and then he came back.
That happens.
Well, you start sniffing all that fentanyl and coke.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that does a number on your paws.
Oh, you betcha.
He approximately had been on 200 assignments in his career and played an essential role in many arrests that required searches for drugs, money, firearms, and suspects.
Mm-hmm.
In one case, he jumped into the Connecticut River at night to apprehend a suspect. Oh, he's a swimmer, too. He's like the Will Reichelt of the Iron Man competition.
He doesn't care what kind of filth is floating around in that river. He'll jump right in, save a life.
Dogs like that kind of thing. They like that smell of sewage.
Listen, they sniff butts, they eat their own puke. They'll do anything.
Yeah.
If they think they can save a life.
I bet you when that guy jumped in, the dog was like, you picked the wrong day to run from me, pal, because I love that stuff.
7 years on the job, that's a good long time for a dog. You know, if you put it into perspective, Steve, let's say I was at this job for 49 years.
Yeah.
Well, let's just hypothetically speaking.
Well, you could be.
Not a chance, because what would happen is that means I would retire at 78 years old. It ain't ever gonna happen. An extra 13 years in the job?
Yeah, you never know. You might have to.
Yeah, no.
You never know.
I'm not working to 78.
Well, you might have to.
If I extend it to 67 or max out my Social Security benefits, fine. But I'm not going to 1 day longer.
Well, some people aren't so lucky. Massachusetts residents can now receive up to 30 weeks of unemployment benefits, and it's because of Springfield's climbing unemployment rate.
Way to go, Springfield, making it good for everybody.
When any of the Bay State's 7 metropolitan statistical areas' unemployment rate exceeds 5.1% across a one-year average, this increase in benefits kicks in. Springfield was just reported to have an unemployment rate of 5.2%, making the increase mandated by a 2003 law to kick in. The other 6 statistical areas measure under 5%, with Barnstable trailing closest to Springfield at 4.9%. And Massachusetts is the only state in the nation to allow recipients to collect benefits for that long. And it is causing stakeholders like the National Federation of Independent Business to call for reform.
Now, what this means is, look at this in a practical way. If you're unemployed in cities like Worcester or Lynn or Lawrence or Attleboro or Brockton, you're hoping big time that no one ever gets a job here in Springfield.
I don't think that's how.
Because if we can continue to not be able to hire people, that means other people who are out of work will be able to extend their benefits. I think everybody in the state should be sending thank you cards to the city of Springfield.
The state's unemployment rate is 0.8% higher than the national average, and the unemployment department predicts that the trust fund that pays for benefits, which is funded by a tax on employers, will go into the red in the next 3 years. These unemployment rates are impacted by loss of private sector jobs, totaling almost 25,000 over the last year, and a loss of federal jobs, despite a 4,400 job increase for state government positions. The Mass Fiscal Alliance said the route to fixing this fiscal uncertainty is increasing private sector jobs. The state's doing serious long-term damage to its economic competitiveness, said Paul Craney, the Mass Fiscal Executive Director. Massachusetts needs a private sector comeback, not more bureaucrats on the state payroll. Before the extension, unemployed individuals could receive benefits up to 26 weeks. So 4 more weeks.
Thank you, Springfield,
Well,
for making it possible for the rest of the Commonwealth to enjoy our unemployment.
Well, yeah. I mean, if there's no jobs available, it's hard to get back into the workforce when you don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah, but I think it's an honorable sacrifice that the city is making for the benefit of everybody else in the state. Don't you?
I don't see it that way. Yeah.
I'm trying to make a bad situation enjoy a silver lining, Steve. It's all I'm trying to do.
I don't think you really can do that when somebody's, hurting for food every week because do I pay my electric bill or do I get some groceries from my family?
I understand, but you got to have at least a level of hope in order for things to improve. And right now, I'm hoping the rest of the state can enjoy their 4 extra weeks of benefits.
Well, hope is just delayed disappointment, Bax.
Ultimately, yes, that's true.
A 33-year-old USPS worker named Caitlin Dye was arrested for DUI in Florida. Caitlin Dye with a DUI.
Caitlin DUI.
Earlier this month while on duty. And she must have been blitzed. Witnesses called police when they saw a mail truck driving the wrong way on a road while the driver, what are you, like delivering the reminder now? Remember those people? Thank God, I don't even see that anymore. I don't think they do that. The people delivering the reminder at 5 o'clock in the morning going the wrong way on the road.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. When the driver was throwing plastic cups out of the vehicle, the truck was also swerving in the lane and making U-turns. Officers pulled Caitlin over, and she appeared confused and disoriented, and she failed a sobriety test. The cop asked her if she had been drinking, and she admitted that she had been invited to a house party on her route. Who's having a house party at, like, noontime?
It's a little early.
And she went in and drank 2 shots of vodka, which is probably 10. And she was taken to jail and charged with a DUI. Not a bad-looking postal worker, though. I'm looking at the mugshot now.
Really? Where is this?
She's a party gal. This is on clickorlando.com. Yeah.
Well, let me
Cute little blonde.
Let me see if I can be judgmental on my own. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing that yet. Oh yeah, sure,
yeah. Why not?
Oh yeah.
She should go on that Facebook group. I can fix her.
But you can't.
I joined.
You can't fix anybody.
I don't remember why we joined that, but I joined that months ago because there was some it was the chick down in Alabama. She was a college student and she was basically trying to make a name for herself by getting arrested for civil disobedience or something like that. And she did a pretty good job. But then somebody alerted me to this Facebook group called I Can Fix Her. And it shows a bunch of hot chicks that have been arrested for various crimes. And you just got to outweigh the crime versus, a chick getting a DUI, that's not a big deal. I mean, if you murdered somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's a vehicular homicide. It's a big deal.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if you just got picked up for a simple drunk driving charge.
Sure, right.
1, not 3.
Let's say it's like a white collar crime, like she may have embezzled funds.
Yeah.
Well, if she's an attractive woman, you might be able to overlook some of the embezzlement charges.
Listen, the world revolves around people who are attractive.
It's true. Whereas us ugly people can only dream of what it must be like to be them.
Listen, if you or me went missing, nobody would care. But if we were good-looking men, it'd be like, these 2 good-looking men are missing.
Steve, if you or I went missing, we'd be hounded by all the live commercials we wouldn't be able to do and say, well, you can't disappear now. You've got Dunkin' Donut spots to do.
Actually, we don't.
All right, let me.
One day we will. I hope
you've got Toyota commercials to do.
Yeah, it's aqua pumps. You got 7Bs. You got all these things to do.
You can't disappear now.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast is going to be.
You got to fill out a timesheet.
Which is, I'm so tired of that. Why in this day and age do we not have an electronic system where we can just put in our hours or put in our little things or they keep track of it since they're the ones who schedule us for all this stuff? And they do. We get a sheet every week saying, here, this is what you did. Okay, then why don't you just put it in the system for me?
Why must we participate in all this redundancy?
We have to go into this carbon copy crap upstairs like you're running a credit card from 1979 and submit a copy here and a copy here. And I don't know. It's just things that...
Listen, we can't fix everything here, Steve.
Mostly sunny today with a high of 75. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 80. It is currently 47 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:54, and the Allman Brothers with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be sunny today with a high of 75. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 80. It's 47 right now in downtown Springfield.
Rock 102 is giving you a chance to win a family getaway to the all-new Great Wolf Lodge in Connecticut. Discover endless family fun with nonstop attractions, entertainment offerings, and dining options. And don't forget about the 92,000-square-foot indoor water park with slides and pools for every age and thrill level. Go to rock102.com and enter to win a 2-night stay at the Great Wolf Lodge for a family of 4. We'll choose one winner at random on May 5th. Your getaway to Great Wolf Lodge is only a howl away from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Let's see. A couple of things here. AI. Do you use AI?
I really don't.
I told you a few weeks ago, I was sitting with a guy who teaches college students. And he was like threatening them. Hey, I catch you using AI. You're out of this class. You're failing or you're whatever.
Right.
And then in the same conversation, he goes on to say that he uses AI himself. And I said, well, what gives you the right to use it if you're not allowing your students to use it? Because that does seem kind of like
it's hypocritical.
And then he says, well, I just upload my reports and then I fill in the blanks, which kind of, that you're actually having somebody else do your work for you.
Yeah, but he's not
what you're supposed to do.
But he's not providing false information or information that he didn't create.
I don't even understand how it really works. I haven't really spent a whole lot of time with it. I know that I've asked it for jokes before, and it just gives you dumb dad jokes that you've heard.
Hasn't workshopped any of the material.
No, but. Artificial intelligence may seem like a threat, but now it's trying to butter you up by making you feel like a wise old sage. Someone on Instagram Threads has figured out that you can type any nonsensical phrase into Google and add the word meaning onto the end, and the AI overview will define it for you as if it's something real. For example, someone Googled this made-up piece of wisdom, quote, "You can't lick a badger twice," with meaning. And Google AI said, the idiom, "you can't lick a badger twice," means you can't trick or deceive someone a second time after they've been tricked once. It's a warning that if someone has already been deceived, they're unlikely to fall for it again. So it's just making up stuff. It's not even...
Can I ask a question? Yeah. And I'm asking this just purely out of curiosity. Why would you want to lick a badger to begin with?
It was a joke. It was something. It was an example of them saying something nonsensical.
What about some other furry woodland creature?
Someone else said, "Never throw your poodle at a pig," and the AI said, "This proverb, which it's not a proverb, is a humorous way of saying don't waste good things on someone who won't appreciate them or might be angered by them."
Right.
So it's basically just telling you what you want to hear.
But badger licking, I've never really considered that. Maybe deer, bobcat, beaver, but I never thought of badgers.
It actually is derived from a biblical phrase: "Do not give what is holy to the dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine." Yeah, that is a Bible verse, by the way. That one.
Yes, and you can clearly see the connection.
Someone tried, "You can't eat a beaver if you don't take out the dam." And Google AI said, "That's an idiom that means you need to address the root cause of our problem before you can solve it or get the desired outcome." Someone also tried, "You can take your dog to the beach, but you can't sell it to Switzerland."
That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's
Google
so true.
AI said that's a saying that highlights the unrealistic expectations of international travel with pets. And finally, "You push the envelope, we'll lick the stamp." And according to AI, that means implies a sense of resignation and willingness to do the necessary task without overcommitting. as fun as this all is, there's some concern about it. One commenter said, "These are funny, but a warning sign that one of the key functions of Googling, like the ability to fact check a quote, verify a source, or track down something half remembered, will get so much harder if AI prefers to legitimize statistical possibilities over actual truth."
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
We're going to be living in the Terminator. This thing is going to take us over, and it's all going to be eventually dumb because we've put our intelligence into it.
Our artificial intelligence into it. And we will believe it because who are we to argue?
Yeah. Coming up, AI-generated show.
It's 6:59 to Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, tonight is the opening round of the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin, an annual event in which teams from around the league pick the best available college players to fluff up their rosters, fill vacancies, address their deficiencies, patch up holes on both sides of the ball, and most of all, to pick specific players before anyone else gets a crack at them. Now, as you may know, the Tennessee Titans have the number 1 overall pick and expected to select quarterback Cam Ward from the University of Miami. What's going to happen after that? I have absolutely no idea. You see, when you're a draft prospect, your job is to do yourself no harm. Doing harm can not only hurt your position in the draft, it can ultimately hurt your chances of earning money. And no kid, no matter how stupid they might be, wants to be that kid. For example, take a look at quarterback Shedeur Sanders, the son of primetime Deion Sanders from Colorado. A few months ago, he was seen as a top prospect. Today, his stock is crashing through the floor after A, not fully participating in the NFL Combine, and B, acting like a spoiled brat. For example, yesterday, the NFL Network cited one anonymous NFL coach saying that Sanders had, quote, "the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled, he takes unnecessary sacks, he never plays on time, he has horrible body language, he blames his teammates, but the biggest thing is, he's not that good." Folks, do you have any idea how much of a nightmare you have to have every team in the NFL reconsider their plans because you appear to be a selfish douchebag? 2 months ago, people thought Shedeur Sanders was going to be the next Johnny Unitas. Today, he's looking like he might be the next Johnny Manziel. And why? Because apparently the entitled cockiness, which has defined nearly his entire college career, is now seen as a liability. And he's done absolutely nothing to change anybody's opinion. You have to be something awful for an NFL coach to say he's the worst I've ever seen in a league which has picked such notorious psychopaths like Aaron Hernandez and O.J. Simpson. Not that I'm putting Shedeur Sanders in that category, but at least those guys knew how to act right for a job interview. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know how much Scott's 4-Step costs at the big mega stores or online at the big stores online? Costs a hell of a lot more than it's going to cost you at Rocky's. Scott's 4-Step is just $95 with your Ace Rewards card. 4 steps to a beautiful lawn. Scott's 4-Step at Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 7:13 and Led Zeppelin with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be sunny today with a high of 75. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 80. It's 47 right now in downtown Springfield. Yesterday, I took a little road trip.
Where'd you go?
It's Barkhamsted or Barkhamsted. I think it's one of those, the way in Connecticut. And I don't know if it's one of those, like the snobs that live here in town. It's East Long Meadow. It's not East Long Meadow.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. It's Barkhamsted or Barkhamsted. I don't know. Either way, I went to Ollie's.
Ollie's.
You ever go to Ollie's before?
I have not. What is Ollie's?
Ollie's is like an Ocean State job lot on steroids.
Okay.
It's got all these like discount items and whatnot, and prices were pretty decent, I guess.
Ollie's, good stuff cheap.
Yeah, good stuff cheap.
Okay.
And I took my oldest daughter. We walked around the store a little bit, and we didn't find much. You know, it's something like if you need some, they have like cheap gardening stuff and all these doohickey. It's like very much like an Ocean State job lot.
Exactly what I was thinking. Couldn't you go to I was going to say Big Lots, but Big Lots is gone.
Well, I had never been there before, so I keep getting ads for it. I guess there's one opening up in Pittsfield soon.
Okay.
But I figured, you know what? It's a nice night. Let's take a little drive through northwestern Connecticut. And then afterwards, we went to I was like, let's go find something to eat. So the next town over is this Winstead, Connecticut.
Right.
And I saw this one place, and I've seen it before. The last time I've been through this town was years ago when I went to go see Peter Wolf at the Infinity Theater in Norfolk, Connecticut. But they got all these little towns along the way, and Winstead is one of them. And I think there's a college there. I don't know what college it is in Winstead, but there's it's not.
Is it Goodwin?
Maybe
Northwestern Community College?
Northwestern Community College. But it's like a little mini college town.
Right.
Out there and kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, well, let's get something to eat because I'm kind of hungry. It's probably about 6 o'clock at night. And I'm driving down the main street, and it's kind of a mixed bag of it kind of reminds you a little bit of Palmer with a touch of Longmeadow. Like, there's...
So in other words, it's a restaurant that's trying to outdo its neighborhood.
Well, it's a diverse neighborhood is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
And, I saw a couple of pizza places, saw a couple of Mexican restaurants, one with halal meat.
Okay.
Halal meat thing. I've always wanted to try that. I still haven't done that yet.
Good.
Halal meat. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, what do you want? Let's do this pizza place. They saw this pizza place that was standing there. And as we get out of the car and we start crossing the street, I notice out of the corner of my eye, maybe just a couple of doors down from the pizza place, because I didn't see this on the way in, was this place called Mario's. Mario's, which looked a little bougier than the pizza place that looked much like a CIA Black Ops interrogation building. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go over there. And I walk into the place, and it's kind of bougie. It's a little bougie, like the way the place is designed. And it was one of those places where I walk in and go, I don't know if I belong here.
Oh, it's one of those places.
Well, it had that ambiance to it, but then there was a takeout portion right next to it. Kind of like like Bella Napoli down in B Napoli down in West Springfield. It's like a really nice restaurant, and they still have that little takeout portion that you can still order pizza and stuff from. Yeah, that's kind of what it kind of reminded me of.
Kind of like what like typical Sicilian used to be, then was, and then became again.
Yeah, that's open, right?
Yeah, it's
over
good.
Here. I've never been there.
You've really?
No.
It's awful good.
So I was like, can I see a menu? which indicates to a staff member that you don't know if you can afford this place, can you?
Well, look at the menu. It's not really overpriced.
It's not overpriced, and no matter of fact, I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, we can eat here. So we sat down. Place has been there, I guess, for 20-something years, and great food. I had a Tuscany chicken salad. Are you saying there's another one chicken salad anywhere here?
Yeah, this one.
This one.
The Tuscany chicken salad. What? Let's see. Look at that. I'm okay. That comes with mixed greens, vegetables, gorgonzola, glazed nuts, and grilled chicken.
Yeah.
How are the glazed nuts?
The glazed nuts were delicious. And the whole thing was pretty good. And I'm like, that's like 45 minutes away from my house. This wouldn't be a bad place to come back to.
Sure.
And I'm actually glad I chose that over the pizza place that was nearby. Not to say anything bad about the pizza place, but when you're talking cosmetics,
sometimes you just like to...
That place twinkled and caught my eye, so I went over there instead.
And this was a shimmering oasis in the middle of a food desert.
Right. So after the meal was over, we go outside, and there's this guy sitting on a bench, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "How was the meal?" Right. I was like, "Oh, it was pretty damn good."
Yeah.
and he introduces himself as the owner.
This is Mario himself?
No, it's Harry.
Harry.
Yeah. And I said, he's talking about how he's been there for 20-something years and, thanks for coming. Very nice man. But he had that, that kind of cartoonish Fred Flintstone-y Italian voice.
I believe.
I was at the meal.
I don't know if Fred Flintstone was Italian.
No. Like the Italian character in the Flintstones. The one
yes.
that went to talk like it is when they went to Lola Brigida. Lola Brigida.
Yes.
And the more I thought about it, the more it was like Dana Carvey and Adam Sandler. It was like, you like it a pepper? I like it the fresh pepper.
That's the perfect amount of pepper, Pepper Boy.
Thank you, Pepper Boy. And he was talking about how he loves cooking, and I said, well, the food was delicious, and all this other stuff. And then I said, what was your name again? And he goes, Harry. And I was like, Harry? Well, who's Mario? And he's like, it's just the name. I was like, all right. Well, I guess Mario sounds more like a dining. I mean, Harry sounds more like a hot dog place. So if you name it something Harry's,
or something that makes like razor blades.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you go with Mario. Give it that Tuscany feel. The kind of thing. But if you're ever down in the Winsted, Connecticut area, the other place I want to try, there's one of those movie theater dining places.
Oh, okay.
It's like the old theater in town. They show movies, but apparently I've never been in there. Apparently you can sit down in there and have like a full meal while you're watching the movie.
With like a waitress and waiter service?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that idea. Used to be like an art theater, and like an artsy-fartsy theater in Providence where everybody sat on a couch.
Mm-hmm.
That was really comfortable. Like real nice couches. You just like...
While you're eating?
Yeah, well, I mean, not having meals, but it was just like a different experience than like the everyday old theater where you're sitting like on a metal chair and your back is all crunched up.
That's what I like about the Agawam cinemas. You ever been over there?
Sure.
Where they have like the desk. It's like a desk in front of you.
Yeah.
That's the perfect movie theater experience. You have everywhere to put your stuff.
As opposed to putting your stuff on the floor, it's all sticky and tacky and gross.
Even in those bougie theaters with the reclining seats and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something about the ambiance of having a desk in front of you to put your stuff on.
Yeah, I don't kidding.
Yeah. But you like it the pepper? I love it the pepper.
That's the perfect amount of pepper, Pepper Boy.
I was just I started watching that last night because I had to see it again, and I'm like, that guy reminds me of that guy. So thanks to Harry and the great meal.
It's 7:23 on Rock 102.
You hear that?
It's 7:26 of Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown, we'll have the full forecast for you.
Something we didn't get a chance to talk about in Hollywood Trash, the death of producer Roy Thomas Baker. Do you know who he is?
Was that the guy who played, put on blackface for Soul Man back in the 1980s?
No, that's not. What is it? That's C. Thomas Howell, Steve. No, this is Roy Thomas Baker. Roy Thomas Baker is the guy that produced most of the early Queen records. Also did the Cars and Journey and the Tramps and Hawkwind and Nazareth and Free and Cheap Trick and Devo and Motley Crue and John Anderson of Yes and on and on and on and Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, just a hell of a career. He died like 2 weeks ago. It was announced, I think, either yesterday or the day before. We didn't get a chance to mention it, but a very important, very significant producer in Roy Thomas Baker. Thought I should mention that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's sad.
It is sad.
He's gone now.
Yes.
Yeah, a prominent record producer played a key role in the creation of the Bohemian Rhapsody. Was also portrayed in the. Who played him? Was that Mike Myers?
No, Mike Myers was the record executive. He didn't really have much of a significant role in that, except he was the guy that recorded all the voices. He did all the production for that record in particular, and then he wound up like the following year did the first Cars record. And believe it or not, there's more voices on voice tracking and voice layering on that Cars record than there were on the Queen record.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, something a little factoid, fun fact.
You should run a podcast every week.
Yeah.
And have these facts about record producers and people.
You
should call it Baxy's Musical Podcast.
Well, that's a really good idea, Steve. I might have to get cracking on that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe we'll get you a computer one of these days and you can start recording interviews.
Well, okay, yeah, that would be great because I'd hate to have to cancel perfectly great interviews again and again and again.
I mean, the first thing you need is the tools to do the job.
Yes, I do. Badly.
Can't we just go to Best Buy? Like, what's the deal with the equipment around here? I come in here this morning and this computer's frozen up, like completely frozen, and it says, hey, we've encountered an error. This is going to take some time. And then we'll restart your computer for you.
Yeah.
And I started it 3 times, and it finally kicked in.
Finally took.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with the system here.
I'm not exactly sure, but we have top men working on this on these issues, and I'm sure they'll be resolved.
It's not the top men's fault, though. That's the problem.
No, it's absolutely not.
It's the equipment problem.
And sometimes the Amish wood-burning 1970s issue equipment tends to no longer be what we need.
By the way, we're giving away reel-to-reels of the podcast today here.
We'll be giving away some answering machines in just a few minutes.
Oh, yeah, the old answering machine.
And some AAA triptychs for your next road trip.
Who wants an 8-track player?
It's 7:29. News is next on Rock. News is next on Rock 102. 7:33 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news, and it is brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-in bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. As local radio icon Steve Nagle.
You know, we were talking last hour about that woman that was found yesterday in Springfield or maybe a couple of days ago, behind the bike path in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And the speculation that this could be tied to a serial killer. Because everybody wants to believe that for some reason. Because there was multiple remains found throughout New England that, whatever. But nobody's connected that yet. Here we go again. 2 bodies were found in the woods near Walmart in Salem Wednesday afternoon. How long before we start connecting that to everything else?
Well, I mean, we shouldn't really be jumping to conclusions until we have more information, and I think that's the responsible thing to do.
NBC states that one body was discovered by a man walking his dog near the store on Highland Avenue around 2:30 p.m. When police arrived, they found a second body. The cause of death for each victim and if foul play was involved is now being investigated. Anyone with information about the bodies was asked to call the Mass State Police. But again, these internet sleuths want to piece things. How many crimes have been solved by random people? I mean, I'm sure it has happened, but what is the percentage of crimes that have been solved by the internet sleuths versus the law enforcement?
I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is, but it has happened. Patton Oswalt's late wife was involved in investigating a serial killer.
Yeah.
And was and her work was very important in the actual investigation, to the point where investigators were actually were conferring with her because she had done such a great job investigating it. It happens, but oftentimes what happens is that people actually get in the way of the investigation, making it harder to figure out who done it. So let's not all just jump to the conclusion that this was something that it may or may not have been.
The Massachusetts State Police will be conducting a sobriety checkpoint tonight in Hampden County to help prevent under-the-influence driving.
Exactly where?
Somewhere.
Well, that's not specific enough. How am I supposed to know to avoid those areas?
Exactly. Listen, if you're not going to tell us, you shouldn't be doing these things.
Yes.
Superintendent of the Mass State Police, Colonel Jeffrey Noble, states that the checkpoint will be held somewhere in Hampden County between Thursday, April 24th, and Friday, April 25th, into the wee hours of the morning.
Say, like, Hall of Fame Avenue be one potential place?
What was the other one? Page Boulevard. I haven't seen one in Westfield in a while. They used to do one like on 202 by the Whip.
Oh, yeah.
But I haven't seen that one in a while. Of course, I haven't really been out,
None of the time when they start setting up the cones.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do?
What you going to do?
If I have to go through one of these things, I'm going to keep my window rolled up for just a crack and be like, am I being detained? Am I being detained?
Hope you get it on your phone.
Am I being detained? Yeah.
Am I under arrest?
Those guys drive me nuts, too. It's like, at that point, it's like, okay, you know what? You got to realize these guys are just doing a job that they were told to do. So for you to start doing that makes you kind of suspicious when you do something like that. I don't necessarily agree with these things because it's not just sobriety they're looking for. They will give out tickets for a broken taillight
right.
or an inspection sticker, which is kind of not really part of the point that you were set up to do this. That's my kind of beef with it. But you can't. The guy's doing his job. You give him a hard time.
There ain't nothing worse than someone who's suspicious with a fundamental understanding of the law.
Am I being detained?
Yeah, tell me, how annoying is that?
What's your favorite I've been detained story?
I would hate to be the person in the car, like the passenger, with that driver. That would be like so humiliating.
Well, but most of them don't have passengers because they're all alone by themselves and doing that kind of behavior.
Most of them, yes, but even still, occasionally you'll have someone sitting in the passenger seat, the one that's holding the phone and recording it.
Yeah, or the guy that tells everybody, hey, you just keep your credentials in a plastic Ziploc bag and press it against the window.
Yeah, that should be good enough.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, that's the point when the cop pulls you through the window he just smashed.
See, it's the internet sleuths and the righteous amendment people that clog up the internets.
Yes,
every day over dumb stuff.
The people who are openly willing to be oppressed.
I'm waiting to see one of these videos where they just smash the window and then pull the guy out and say, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean they're not supposed to do that. But
I mean if you push somebody hard enough to say you're not getting out of the car
and you're not complying to the officer's demands,
eventually they have the right to take you out.
They do,
but
not gently.
Let's see. There was I saw this yesterday, but now I can't find it. It was a box truck in Waterbury that was speeding throughout the city.
Really?
Yeah. And it was causing all kinds of... I see the video of it. Oh, here it is. Driver in stolen box... Yeah, this was crazy. A driver who, behind the wheel of a stolen box truck, hit several vehicles, including at least one state police cruiser, was fleeing from police on Wednesday, was taken into custody in Waterbury. Waterbury police initially responded to South Main Street after a contractor reported the stolen truck. Officers later spotted the truck on Watertown Avenue and tried to stop it, but the driver took off. What's going through your head that you're going to get away from the cops in a giant... I mean, not giant. I mean, it's a small box truck, but it's still giant compared to like a fast car.
Yeah, I don't really know what people are getting. And you look at the other vehicles that were hit.
Yeah.
That should slow the box truck down. The box truck got pretty messed up.
See, these truck companies should use this as an ad. Look what this thing can do to other vehicles.
Yeah.
That means it can do any job you need it to do. The driver jumped out of the truck, took off on foot, but eventually taken into custody. The suspect is facing charges including larceny of a motor vehicle, engaging in a police pursuit, reckless driving, and assault on a police officer. Waterbury police said minor injuries were reported, including to the suspect. He was taken to the hospital to be evaluated.
Given a choice between like a foot chase on the streets of like any town USA, like a Waterbury, or just giving up,
yeah,
I'd probably choose just the giving up.
Well,
I would choose surrender at that point, other than trying to jump out of the truck and evade police with the speed of my feet.
I saw the YouTube video of it. We read stories versus actually watching what happened. It's a lot scarier to watch the damage and destruction of these things.
Oh, yeah.
Going through. But again, what's your thinking when you're taking a U-Haul truck?
I don't know.
Do they charge you for the straps if you break the zip ties in the back?
If the straps fall or the hand truck falls out of the back, you got to pay for that.
So now you're not only on the hook for bail, but you're also on the hook for the $200 for using the hand truck. I didn't even use the hand truck. Well, it broke off the zip ties. Sorry.
And those straps, they'll get you for that, too.
Speaking of police chases, deputies in Florida were shocked when a man they were chasing in a vehicle offered them a drink and asked if they had fun during the pursuit. According to the Highlands County Sheriff's Office, the incident started on Saturday afternoon when a convenience store reported that the man stole several items. Officials identified the suspect as 39-year-old Richard Christopher Smith of Miami. As deputies were on the way, they were told Smith was in a black minivan driving in circles around the store. When deputies arrived, Smith allegedly sped off, leading a chase that ended several miles later in a parking lot at the Sebring Airport. A body cam from the deputy shows Smith at one point holding out a can of Kettle One vodka spritz out the window as he drove by the deputy. As the deputy asked Smith to stop, he responded, "I was just going to give you a drink, that's it," and kept driving. The chase continued, and deputies and Smith attempted to ram Smith attempted to ram two patrol vehicles amid getting all four tires flattened by spike strips. After crashing, video shows Smith casually getting out of the minivan while puffing a cigarette trying to walk away. He doesn't listen to commands to put his hands up, and he's tased by deputies. After Smith is placed in handcuffs, he asks the deputies, "You guys had fun though, right?"
Because that's what's important.
Strange things happen at a time when you're in law enforcement. This one, however, might make the book, said the Highland County Sheriff's Office. They continued, "We would be very interested to hear from anyone else who has been offered a vodka spritzer by their suspect in the middle of a vehicle pursuit."
Yeah, I know you got to get thirsty, and on one of these long road chases.
Well, didn't Greg Bigda offer up a grinder from what's the name of that place? I keep forgetting the name of the
Primas or Primos?
Primos, yeah. Didn't he offer up a grinder to those kids before he threatened to throw them away for years by planting cocaine on them?
I don't know if the
Listen, I'm going to plant cocaine on you.
I don't know if the grinder was really part of the equation.
But do you want a hot, spicy Italian grinder from Primos? I was just about to grab the bag, and you took off in my car that was running with the keys in it. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be sunny with a high of 75. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 80. It's 47 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
50 on Rock 102.
It is going to be nice and sunny today with a high of 75. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 80. It's 47 right now in downtown Springfield. The weather's been actually really nice. Last couple of days, I've been out doing some yard work, and pretty enjoyable. But this weekend, not so much.
Yeah, no, I had to clip some wild raspberry bushes from my backyard, and those are the ones with the big prickers all over them.
Oh yeah. Did you put gloves and long sleeve shirt on?
I had the gloves. I didn't think about the long sleeves, and my arms did okay. It was my legs that got caught up in it, and I probably should not be gardening naked.
Are you just not privy to knowing basic lawn safety?
I know it. I mean, I get it. I just chose not to follow it because I didn't think I'd have to be out there for as long as I was.
Because you got to watch out for the ticks too. You make sure you check yourself for ticks.
I always do the tick check.
Yeah,
I always do because the last thing I want to have again would be Lyme disease for a third time.
You ever take tick pics?
Yeah, but I don't show them off to people.
Are you sure?
I just do it for my own enjoyment.
I told you there was at one time where I thought I got bit by a tick, but I didn't.
Did you have the bullseye?
Well, it didn't have the bullseye, but there was a bite mark on there, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't a tick bite. And I went over to one of those Jiffy Lube doctor's offices, the Med Expresses or whatever they're called.
The Doc in the Box?
Yeah, Doc in the Box. And she's like, do you mind if I take... She had this little, kind of BlackBerry-ish type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I take some pictures of this? And I said, well, at least you're not taking unsolicited tick pics and saying that. It was a very dry medical professional. Obviously, she was a PA or doctor, but either way, it actually made her laugh.
Did it?
Yeah.
A lot of medical professionals would not laugh at something like that.
No, I mean, it was the first time she heard that one. So now I'm using it all the time.
Unsolicited tick pics.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you can hear more of this comedy tonight at the Shortstop Bar and Grill. $30 dinner and a comedy show to benefit the Westfield Animal Sanctuary.
Well, that sounds like a great night of laughs.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Comedian Mike Hanley's going to be there.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Hanley's very, very funny.
Yeah, so if you want ticks, not those kind of ticks. Tickets.
Yes, right.
You can Venmo me at Nagle Comedy, or you can just message me and say you're going to be there. But tickets are going fast, so you might not have them.
Speaking of tickets, we talked about this last hour. The Springfield Thunderbirds beat Providence last night in Providence 2-1, and they are in a play-in series. It's a best-of-3 game series. So they're playing tomorrow night in Springfield for Game 2. If they win that game, they advance into the first round of the actual playoffs themselves. If they don't, then Providence does that, and we don't want that. What we want is for the Thunderbirds to win and advance. That would be the preferred trajectory of this particular series.
All right.
Now, having said that, I should alert you to the fact that that game for Friday, for tomorrow night, is if it's not a sellout yet, it is probably going to be a sellout within minutes. Especially when I give away a 4-pack of tickets.
Oh, whoa! Look at you.
The way the way I snuck that in there, like you would never have suspected I was going to give away tickets just talking about the Thunderbirds that.
You're like Willy Wonka, but not with candy, but with tickets to the Thunderbirds.
I'm surprising everybody. This is basically the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Oh, well.
And just in the form of...
You mean the Thunderbird that lays the golden puck.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the form of a 4-pack of tickets to the 10th caller right now at 293-1021. You can get your tickets or on the T-Bird app or on their website, or win them right now to the 10th caller. Good luck to you.
Coming up, we'll be speaking with team captains to talk about what your favorite flavor of ice cream is.
And what they do with their toothbrushes.
It was that reminded me of Wayne's World when he's like, if Benjamin were an ice cream flavor, he'd be pralines and dick.
I never had that flavor. Not all those pralines.
Oh, yeah, right. How do we keep surviving on
I don't know. It's
I have no idea.
7:55 on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, tonight is the opening round of the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. An annual event in which teams from around the league pick the best available college players to fluff up their rosters, fill vacancies, address their deficiencies, patch up holes on both sides of the ball, and most of all, to pick specific players before anybody else gets a crack at them. Now, as you may know, the Tennessee Titans will have the number 1 overall pick and are expected to select quarterback Cam Ward from the University of Miami. Once that happens, the Cleveland Browns make their pick, followed by the Giants, and then the New England Patriots. Who are the Browns and Giants going to pick? I'll tell you who. They're going to pick 2 guys that will no longer be available by the time the Patriots can get on the clock. The question will then become, who's left? This question then provokes other questions, such as, who are the Patriots going to pick? Will they pick a receiver? Will they pick a lineman? What about that guy with the short arms? What about picking a guy with normal-size arms? Who are the best available players with normal-size arms? Is there anyone available in the draft with abnormally longer arms? Are there any other sort of appendages that the Patriots should be looking for? Will the size of those appendages matter? I've always been led to believe that size doesn't matter, but I'm not the guy in charge of choosing the number 4 overall pick. Now, you should be aware the Patriots also have 1 pick in the 2nd round, 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, none in the 6th, and 2 in the 7th. That's a total of 9 picks, at least for now. But of course, they could trade a pick, get more picks, take that pick, and pick somebody else. Of course, they can stay put, not trade for any picks, and hope that these 9 guys work out. Because remember, Some of the best guys in the later rounds work out pretty damn well, including some of the greatest players in NFL history. Or have you never heard of a guy say, oh, I don't know, like Tom Brady? So buckle up, folks, because tonight's going to be one hell of a ride. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Benjamin Moore. Ever hear of those guys? Of course you have. It's America's most famous paint, and for good reason. May not be the cheapest paint, but it's a super premium paint, and once in a while, Rocky's has got a great deal, like 20% off Benjamin Moore interior paint. That's going on right now at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 8:09, and Bon Jovi.
Not Don Jovi.
Not Don Jovi, although we may give some tickets away to that show a little bit later on today, too.
Make you an offer you can't refuse.
By the way, that Don Jovi show is tonight at 52 Summer. If you're looking for something to do tonight, you've gotten sick of all the nice weather, great place to go, 52 Sumner.
Or there's also a $30 dinner and a comedy show over in Westfield.
Well, that's the other option.
But you know what? That's almost sold out. So you go to the Don Jovi concert.
You'll have I don't want to say you'll have a better time, but you'll have an equally fun amount of time.
I'm just reading these Ask Reddit questions. Human resources people, what are some WTF reasons an employee has been disciplined and or terminated for? You ever see anybody who was terminated for a stupid reason?
I'm sure I have.
Yeah.
Yes, in fact, I have.
Can you bring the example up, or is it too specific?
Well, the story behind why he was fired, to me, is not as interesting as the announcement that he had been fired.
Yeah.
We had a fella here many, many years ago, maybe like 20 years ago. I don't even think you were working here at the time. Maybe you were. I don't recall. Anyway, he was let go for allegedly smoking a marijuana cigarette in the station van.
What's wrong with that?
Well, this is before marijuana cigarettes were legal.
Mm-hmm.
At the time,
Which
they
you
were...
still can't do that anyway.
Right. You're not supposed to be doing that in the station vehicle. And at the time, it was very much not legal. And so we, as a staff, after this individual was let go, had a meeting in which we were reminded not to smoke marijuana cigarettes in the station van. And then we were told, let's all use our heads and remember why we got into this business in the first place. And I could not help but laugh at that statement.
Yeah.
Because for what that guy got fired for is the exact reason why most people I know got into this business in the first place. So they could smoke a marijuana cigarette in a radio station van.
I mean, it used to be part of the deal, right? You used to come in here and there was a guy rolling a joint on one of the record players.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm talking years ago.
Years ago,
yeah.
I remember working with a guy who would be sitting across from me cleaning the seeds and stems from his bag of weed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's nice.
A bag of weed, which, by the way, he bought from the boss. So he wasn't going to get fired for something like that.
There was plenty of times I probably should have been fired from this business.
I know I've come very close
yeah.
To being fired, but not necessarily because of something that I did.
When I first started here, I would do nights, 7 to midnight.
Right.
And then it was like maybe a month after I started working here, they had some employee party at a I won't say where, but it was a local watering hole.
Uh-huh.
And I may have had a few. May have had
you?
A few. Yeah.
I find this incredibly hard to believe.
Yeah, I know. And I came back here and we would voice track. They call it voice tracking, kids. I'd be on the air from 7 to 10 and then voice track 10 to 12.
So that you could attend the drinking party.
But that particular night, I just voice tracked the whole thing because, there was no way I was going to sit here for
not while everybody else was having fun.
Well, no, they already had the fun. This was coming back from the fun.
See.
It was
this
like a daytime
post-fun
thing, and then so I come back here. I got a few pops under my belt, and I start doing the voice tracking, which was probably the best that I've ever done, except for when I was leaving here and I'm driving away, and which was the stupid part. You probably shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a car.
Right.
But I heard myself say, Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. Rock 102 Springfield's Classic. And I messed up. I was like, Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. Oh, what the? And I said it.
You said the word.
Well, because usually somebody who's sober and doing that job would stop it, re-record it, and put it back. But I had just gone on to the next one and forgot all about that one until I heard it. And it was a couple of weeks. I was waiting for somebody to just drop the axe, and nobody ever heard it.
No one ever said it?
No one ever said it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, what does that say about your audience?
It wasn't even about the audience. It was about the management who clearly didn't pay attention to anything that was going on past the morning show.
Oh, and by the way, they continue to not pay attention to anything. It either goes before or after the morning show.
Yeah, I don't even think they listen to this.
Of course they don't.
That's why we can talk so much crap about them.
Oh, we can talk not only behind their back, right in front of their faces. They'd be hearing that for the very first time.
But I'm reading some of these stories. This guy, a man came in to complain to the zoning manager that one of our employees had been sleeping with his wife. The zoning manager said he was sorry it was happening, but he didn't know why the man brought it to his attention. The man informed him that the two were only doing it while they were at work. Oh, it's like I only smoke when I drink, the kind of thing. I only bang your wife while we're here.
So wait. I'm not supposed to have sex with the boss's wife at work?
Apparently not. Now the employee now the employee worked in animal control, and he requested that he be assigned weekend work. The complainant's wife would get all dolled up like she was going shopping and then go to animal control and bang the dude in between him putting animals down.
Well,
I guess you've got to cheer yourself up.
Yeah, you got to find a way to be happy and feel good about your job.
The employee was smart enough to be... The employee was smart enough to be arranging these rendezvous on his work computer, and I was assigned the investigation. I got to review his emails and learned all sorts of things, like that his member was actually smaller than her husband's but still liked it. They also frequently boned on a swivel chair at the office. The employee was fired, but being a public employer, the chair remained with the city.
Ah, yeah, well, it's city property.
You can't get rid of that thing.
Well, what was the weight capacity on that thing? I mean, you're going to carry two people.
Two people going to town.
You got to feel pretty good about that office supply store.
There used to be a DJ at the other radio station that I worked who was the karaoke DJ at Mingles. And then he would brag about all the divots that were in the counter of all the chicks that he'd bring back to the radio station after midnight.
Divots. You got to replace your divots.
Well, there was divots from the chair banging into the thing, and then once we found out that information, we're like, we're sitting in this chair. Do we need tetanus shots?
This is not a chair. It's a petri dish.
I've had to fire a line lead in manufacturing because she was sleeping with the first and second shift production leaders. Oh, she was the third shift.
She was shifting all over the place.
They wanted to fight for her in the middle of the plant when they finally figured it out, and she was egging them on. Oh, one of those manufacturing Lolitas.
Right. Factory work is no place for chivalry.
I had a guy who, in the first week of his employment, was caught pleasuring himself to pornography in the parking lot. No effort to be subtle, either. The company I worked for was so lawsuit adverse that they would never let us fire anyone. In fact, we once had an employee who we found out was coming into work, clocking in, then going home. They would come back at the end of their shift and clock out. HR wouldn't let us fire the employee without first giving him a warning.
Meanwhile, this guy was clocking off.
Yeah, right? Where you put your hands on your clock? You're clocking off? Anyway, I hear about this, check with HR, and as it turns out, playing with yourself in the parking lot is a terminable offense. So I volunteered to take care of terminating the guy. So I bring the guy into the office and tell him that we're letting him go, and he asked me, don't I get a warning? And I told him, no, not for this.
Well, I'd slap you on the wrist, but I think I'd probably do damage.
Yeah.
I think those wrists have been through enough.
Somebody else responded about the clocking. Dude going to work, clocking in, and coming back to clock out is my low-key hero. Like the gall to just do that. I had to let a kid go for showing other staff members his homemade videos he was watching at work. His graphic videos.
I see. Yeah. Well, hey.
And the worst part is they were all solo. Who's getting their jollies off that?
I don't like to show anybody my phone at work.
Yeah.
None of your damn business.
I can't even read that one.
That's the one I want to hear.
He was on. I lived close to a Honda plant. One employee was filming, and this dude on the assembly line pulls out his you-know-what, and the girl next to him goes to town on him. They were both fired, and the video was all over Facebook.
All right, I didn't see that one on Facebook. I would have liked to have seen it because, you know,
how come I'm not getting this in my feed?
Yeah, my For You page is not catching that algorithm.
She was getting it in her feed, that's for sure. That's for sure. Let's see. A guy got fired because IT found out he was using his work laptop to arrange hookers while traveling for work. Afterwards, they discovered he was keeping a spreadsheet with scores and ranks which female employee the hooker most looked like. Oh, she looks like JD in accounting.
No, wait, how is that problematic?
Yeah. Oh, look at this one looks like Rebecca.
I don't like Rebecca that much, but you know, I was in a state.
Yes, but she had nice. Well, whatever. Manager was caught having sex with another manager's wife in a car on company property while the husband was working. I would say that's a fireable.
That's
offense.
probably not.
My VP of HR was fired for sexual harassment. She went around the entire office bragging about her skills.
When your HR director is doing it, the very person who is supposed to alert everybody about the sexual harassment policy of that company is in violation of that policy.
Right.
Maybe that might not have been a good hire to begin with.
Well, isn't that how most people get jobs like that? They know their way around.
Yeah, that's right.
But then when you let it slip,
that's a problem.
We busted someone smoking crack on the job by a cooling tower. We also busted someone having sex in their car with their side piece and didn't answer the radio when we called them. It just fired 2 people for stealing $60,000 worth of copper lines off the lineman truck. So that's what you were doing at Eversource.
My guess is the one stealing the copper. That's a more punishable offense.
Back when I was a warehouse manager, I caught 2 employees having sex in an isolated high bay storage aisle. I immediately proceeded to not give a crap and went on about my day. Another time, I caught a member of upper management pilfering product in the same area. Again, I immediately proceeded to not give a crap, and later that week, I got promoted. So nobody got fired in that thing.
Right.
I was the head of our training years ago. I was talking to our head of training years ago. I asked him that question. What was the question? See, I'm all off here.
That's all right.
I found a used prophylactic in my office trash can.
What is this? A prophylactic wrapper?
A few days later, I found another. HR notified both times, so they called building security after the second. My office after the second.
I would probably call up to the first, but that's just me.
My office was added to patrol route. An employee of mine, a married woman, late 20s, was hosting gentlemen from other departments. 3 that she confessed to in my office after hours because her home life was crap. My office was on an inside corridor and had no windows, and she had a key that she had been given by the previous occupant of that office for legit work reasons. She and her stable of men were all let go, and the company paid a professional cleaning crew to deep clean the office. Didn't matter. I still got the ick in there. The thing. Would you be able to work in a place like that even knowing that it's been cleaned? I told you when my dad urinated in the dishwasher, I couldn't eat off those dishes. I had to throw those dishes away.
Couldn't you just run the dishwasher a second time?
We did, but it was just the idea that those particular dishes were in there while it wasn't that many dishes.
Well, let's say your favorite coffee mug was in there.
Yeah, that's not...
And you ran it through like the sterilization cycle.
Yeah, that's not stains from the coffee on there. So, well, there you go.
Well, there you go. That's interesting.
We had to come up with something to fill the time.
It's 8:23 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's 8:25 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. The Rock 102 Golf Club is back, brought to you by Swing Oil Beer. You can get 7 rounds of golf. That includes cart, with no day or time restrictions. Some of the area's great courses like Keeney Park, Brattleboro Country Club, Northampton Country Club, and many more for just $129. Now, when you break that down mathematically, that's less than $20 a round. That's a hell of a deal for golf and for any golfer. To get yours, go to rock102.com. Makes a great gift for anybody that golfs. Mother's Day is coming up. Father's Day is not that far behind. It's the Rock 102 Golf Club, brought to you by Swing Oil Beer. Try their New England IPA. Perfect for the golf course. And Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Look at that. Perfect timing. You finished that liner, and I finished pouring my coffee. Would you like a cup of coffee?
I wouldn't mind a little cup myself.
I'm like a Starbucks barista over here.
I know. I brought more half and half yesterday because the old one was, I guess, empty. I don't know how we had gone through like a whole half gallon of half and half so fast.
I think somebody else is using it, which is fine. But here's the thing. Replace it. Or let somebody know that it needs to be replaced, as opposed to leaving a thimble full of half and half left in the bottle.
You could take like an empty package of Sweet and Low, just write a note on it, say need cream. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll send one of these people over there.
Yeah. Well,
Pat Kelly, he's not doing anything in the afternoon. We can send him down to the store.
He's plenty busy during the moments that he is
Where's
here.
your cup? Do you want me to?
I'm gonna need one of them other cups.
The mugs?
I brought my mug home. I'm just gonna need like a regular coffee cup. Then we have
that? That's clean, right?
Yeah, that's reasonably clean. What about all the cups we had? All the regular coffee cups?
We did.
Still there, right?
Oh yeah, we got some.
Yeah.
Would you like any cream in there?
I wouldn't mind it.
You want me to write a message on the side of the cup?
No, I don't need my name on it. Yeah, I'll know it's mine.
How do you know?
Well, there's just you and me in the room, and
I know, but this isn't some run-of-the-mill convenience store coffee shop here, Bax. We got rules here.
All right, thank you very much.
There you go. Oh, you almost.
We almost had a nuclear disaster over here.
Nuclear disaster.
I know.
Let's see.
Not going to have any coffee grinds at the bottom of this cup, am I? Because I
don't know.
I hate that.
I have no idea. I made jet fuel.
Well, that's a pretty good cup.
Yeah, see, I know how to make a cup of coffee.
You eyeball it. I actually brought a scoop. Did you see the scoop I brought?
My eyeball has the perfect measurement.
I don't think it does, actually. I think it's
yeah. I see you bought a scoop. Scoops for wimps.
It's a scoop not just for us, but if anybody wanted to make their own coffee, they would have the scoop option.
We should hide the good coffee and put the bad coffee, because there's undesirable coffee here.
It's not terrible coffee. It's just not. It's
I'm
just
not
what you. I know you're not going to say, but I mean, like for example, the one that you prefer, I kind of like something that's a little bit in the middle, more towards the higher end, but I don't have to go all there. There's something, and I don't want to name names, but there's like a I don't know, like a singed taste to it.
Well, I didn't write anything on the side of your cup. Like,
I don't need it.
Have a sparkling day.
Right.
I was just showing you that TikTok video. The lady who was in scrubs goes into Starbucks, and they write on her cup, "Thanks for saving lives." And she's like, "Ma'am, I work at an abortion clinic."
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
It's 8:29. News is next on Rock 102. 8:30. With Bax and Nagle on Rock 102, it's time for news brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-on bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. The Springfield Fire Department was sent to a porch fire early this morning. Springfield Fire Captain Droopy Monty said that there was a porch fire at 37 Mountain View Street at 4:50 a.m. It has since been put out. No injuries were reported, and the cause of the fire is being investigated by the Arson and Bomb Squad.
Oh, no. The porch is on fire.
Whatever will we do?
Maybe we could blow it out.
I'm sure he loves that.
He doesn't.
Which is why we should do it more often.
Well, listen, it's all in good fun. It's all in good sport. Listen. When we used to have fun with Trent Duda, do you think that Trent Duda had a problem with it?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He loved it.
Sure?
He loved it all along the Duda day.
Who was the other guy that he didn't like it?
Well, Officer Bumbles wasn't very happy about things.
Yes, but you know what? Sometimes you create your own reality.
It's true.
I mean, having 2 firearm incidents where you're missing guns. One because you were taking a dump in the bathroom. We haven't done that in a long time.
No, we haven't.
Hey, yeah, and you know what? There's some characters we miss over the years. Remember Lieutenant Jim Albert? Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago.
That's right, yeah.
But it was, hey, Lieutenant Jim Albert. And he loved that. He, from what I heard, he said he was enjoying that.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you love that?
Hey. Someone gonna get shot today.
Steve, you like school in July. No class.
Speaking of Holyoke officers arrested a 15-year-old boy last Friday for allegedly possessing a large-capacity firearm. Holyoke Police Chief Brian Keenan. See, you can't even make it. I mean,
there's nothing funny about that.
He's got an important job, but it's like there's no play on words.
Nothing.
There's nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Said that on Friday, April 18th, shortly before 12:30 p.m., an officer received a report of a gun call on 36 Ely Street. The victim stated that an argument had allegedly broken out and a suspect flashed a firearm located in his waistband. The suspect then allegedly left the area in a vehicle. Officers then located the vehicle connected to the incident on South Summer Street. The car was parked and occupied, and the driver was detained and released. The passenger was detained, and officers discovered a firearm loaded with 28 rounds of ammunition with a 30-round extended magazine in his waistband. He was positively identified as the suspect in the incident and arrested.
I don't know if it's a matter of my age, but I can't help but think about, well, what kind of pants is the man wearing? Are we talking about like sweatpants, some Sansbelt action slacks?
Something that comfortably holds a firearm in the waistband.
See, I would think you would need like a belt to hold that up, because there's some weight involved there.
These Orvis work pants from Kirkland that I get. There's a nice little stretch to them.
All right, but I mean, enough stretch to hold a gun in place,
yeah, absolutely.
without it, you maxing out the elasticity of the waistband.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
you can get anything at Costco.
I know that, but you're usually limited to the pants that they have, and sometimes, if all you have is, say, like, I don't know, some sort of, like breakaway, like some breakaway pants, the ones with the snaps. Yeah, like
you take all the pants off all at once.
Yeah, like porn stars and basketball players have. Well, right. I mean, just wondering, could you comfortably hold a gun in place with such a stretchy waistband?
Maybe.
I don't know about that. I don't know. You know what? If we could recreate the weight and width and volume of a mass of the gun you're talking about,
yeah,
it would be an interesting thing. What pants hold up best to concealing a weapon?
Well, I'm going to go with the ones I buy in the Orvis pants from Kirkland Costco brand. Those would be my pick.
Okay, all right. I'll take your word for it.
A little, but somebody's got to come out and market these pants with the inside holster.
Yeah, like
can we make crime a little bit easier for people?
Like a bullet pocket.
Yeah, a bullet pocket, a magazine pocket.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
A neighborhood of Northampton residents is voicing their opposition to a proposed apartment development. Multiple residents on Phillips Place and adjacent streets voiced their concerns over the proposed building, saying the plans have changed drastically from what was approved. Neighbors in a historic Northampton neighborhood are at odds with the city council and the O'Connell Development Group, fighting a proposed 54-unit apartment building. This lot was originally planned without opposition to have 6 duplex condos would meet the comprehensive Northampton plan for providing some more density housing, said Colin Hoffmeister of Northampton. Mr. Hoffmeister!
Hoffmeister!
Hoffmeister! Nobody's against that. We welcome new neighbors. The development is part of a larger project for the property of the old St. John's Cantius Church. The church was saved by the community, and in turn, the city granted the development company $500,000 to restore the interior to add housing. But without any notice to the neighbors, the city changed the zoning of the parking lot, allowing a much larger project. Not only did Colin Hoffmeister said the plans changed through the years, but he also said the newest plan will impact their way of life. There's going to be 44 windows facing me, 15.5 feet away. There'll be virtually no privacy. I have concerns about the airflow with my heating system venting in there, and there's going to be downdraft issues. You're worried about the downdraft. You're looking to get the updraft.
We're going to get out of it.
O'Connell Development Group, which proposed the apartment building, did not reply to 22 News' request for comment. The hearing is tonight for the builder's request for a special permit. Neighbors say they aren't opposed at all to the development, but within reason, something that will fit into their neighborhood, not tower over it.
It's not the size that should matter.
No, but that is kind of, when you get that many places facing your current living situation.
Well, the problem is, it's one thing to have a plan. It's another thing to go back and change it all up.
And not tell anybody.
And not tell, exactly.
See, this is why it's so important to go to your local meetings, your town meetings. We got one coming up on May 6th in Huntington about that proposed gravel site.
You're still dealing with that?
Yes. Remember I told you they keep the applicant keeps delaying the process as a tactic to make everybody forget about it.
But they're not forgetting about it. They're waiting for it to happen.
No, and I've been reading through some of the minutes. I got some of the minutes of the meeting. Man, if you want a good read, sit down and read your local town minutes for a zoning board.
Wow.
I could not put that down. But it's important for everybody to go out there. No matter what side of the issue you're on, you have a right to voice your opinion about that. And whether you're for it or against it, you should show up.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Most residents don't.
Because they don't have the time.
They don't have the time, or they just say, I couldn't be bothered. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to get in the middle of stuff.
But that's what they're banking on.
Of course.
That's what the applicant is banking on.
Well, that's my whole point. It's like, if you want to get something done, don't try to get it done in the first meeting. Get it done in like the 9th meeting when people stop caring so much.
Yes.
And then you get it done, and then everyone says, what happened? How come I didn't know about the meeting?
So that meeting is going to be on May 6th. May Day.
May Day.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Oh, it's the Russian New Year. We'll have hors d'oeuvres and we'll have...
Jacobs, what do you make of this? Well, I can make a brooch.
Pterodactyl. Let's see. There's a guy in Manchester, Connecticut. A man and woman from New Jersey were arrested for pointing a laser pointer at drivers on a highway. State police identified the people as 25-year-old Manuel Dominguez Liz and 38-year-old Mabel Parrott. According to troopers, a 911 caller reported that someone pointed a green laser pointer at drivers and vehicles on I-84 West in the area of Exit 61. The report came in 8:30 p.m. on Monday. A witness followed the vehicle, which the caller described as a black Toyota Prius, and updated dispatchers on its location and continued driver continued west. The vehicle's driver continued onto I-91 South before troopers stopped him in the area of Exit 27 in Hartford. The driver was identified as Dominguez Liz. When speaking with Dominguez Liz, a green laser pointer was found on his lap in plain view. If you're going to do something like that, make sure the laser pointer is at least hidden in the console. These failed students of the Steve Nagle College of Criminal Knowledge.
They just don't understand.
They said Dominguez Liz initially admitted to pointing the laser, but then stated that his passenger Parrott was the one who was using the laser to point it at signs as they drove. I don't believe that for a second. Both of them told troopers they were just having fun pointing it at the highway signs. They were then charged. Dominguez Liz was charged with illegal use of a laser pointer, interfering with an officer, second-degree breach of peace, and second-degree reckless endangerment. Parrott was charged with the illegal use of a laser pointer and second-degree breach of peace. They were both held on $2,500 bonds and expected to appear in Manchester Superior Court this coming Tuesday. Those laser pointers are pretty strong, by the way.
Yeah, they'll burn your eyes out.
Uh-huh. They'll burn your eyes out. And, if you're going to do it, I saw an ad for the regular red laser pointers.
Mm-hmm.
With the picture of a penis on it.
I've seen those.
Yeah. That's what I want to do.
I used to play with a laser pointer with my cat. Oh,
Cat
man.
would go nuts.
My cat would go bananas over that years ago.
And He never caught the dot, did he?
He never really caught up to it. He thought he could catch it, but he's a cat. Turns out he wasn't that bright.
How can animals be so smart yet so stupid at the same time?
I don't know. The same question could be asked of human beings too,
like me
or me.
How can I be so smart yet so dumb at the same time?
Lots of us have asked that very same question.
When my dad passed away, I had this laser pointer that I had gotten from a Dollar Tree that had all these little attachments on it that you could put. It was like, the peace sign or whatever, and one of them was one of those, the silhouette of the bathing suit babe you see on the back of like pickup trucks.
Yeah, yeah.
We were pointing that at my dad's casket at the funeral home at Sampson's. My brother and I were sitting there taking turns, like putting the naked lady on the casket.
If you can't laugh at a funeral, then what can you laugh at, really?
Oh my God, those wakes, they're so boring. The person's dead.
Yeah.
Why are people talking so softly? You should be having a good time. You're celebrating a life that has been lived. You should be talking, cheering, having a good time.
The stories to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a solemn, quiet place to be. It should be a happy place.
Right. You should be lots of laughter.
Celebrate the life of the person that passed away.
Yeah, we got the whole thing messed up.
I don't know why. Why is that? I don't think we'll ever be invited back to the Sampson funeral home again, though.
It's very likely we won't.
I mean, wouldn't you? If you had the opportunity to do that at a parent's funeral, would you not do that? Put the naked lady laser pointer on the side of the casket?
I think out of respect for my mother, I don't think she'd appreciate it that
What if it was your
much.
mother's funeral?
I don't think I'd have the naked lady laser pointer on my mother's
All right. So what if it was the more the softer one, like the peace symbol or something like that?
Well, I probably wouldn't even bring the laser pointer. If I want to go do some practical jokes at my mother's wake, I'd probably put like saran wrap on the toilets or something like that. That would
or
be
replace
fun.
the salt shaker with sugar instead.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Right.
People getting a cup of coffee, they're thinking they're putting sugar into their coffee, but no, you got salt.
See, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, this is why I don't run funeral parlors.
Yeah,
that's the reason why.
That's the reason why.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be sunny with a high of 75. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 80. It's 56 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah. Downtown Springfield.
This week on Baxi's Musical Podcast, my guest is Christian Dryden from the band The Ritualists. Their latest album came out on Tuesday called Too Pure to Cure. It's really, really good. It's their third album. Their single Plastic Crusade is fantastic. Next week, my guest is Mark Burgess from the band The Chameleons. He's been on the podcast before. They're coming to a Big Night Live next week in Boston, and they are working on their first album in 23 years. And the songs I've heard so far are amazing. You'll be able to hear that interview starting on Monday on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the app. And it's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Let's see. Well, there's a couple of things here. There was a guy in Ireland lost his car after he forgot where he parked it when going to a bachelor party. It was lost for almost 3 weeks. And the guy didn't find it until calling into a radio show, sharing his story, and having a listener help him locate it.
Would it be safe to assume? Now, I don't mean to be, scratching any old stereotypes.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that his inability to find the car may have been somewhat alcohol related?
Perhaps.
Bachelor party,
Yeah.
can't find my car, had to return the car he took, that kind of thing.
And then maybe he backed into one of the strippers in the middle of a snowstorm and, all the
Right.
drinks that he had
Yeah.
that night at the bachelor party. Didn't even know it. Didn't even know she was in the snow. Couldn't figure it out. I don't black out either.
No, of course not. And then, of course, some local blogger, Shillelagh Boy's got a lot to say about it and starts poking his nose and intimidating witnesses.
Somebody just tagged me in something about that. And it was again, one of these like TikTok videos talking about all the things that the people in the house had done. Like the guy destroyed his cell phone, his SIM card, they sold the house and all that stuff. The thing about selling the house, those people that sold that house at 34 Fairview, I would sell my house too, especially if there was a bunch of people driving by all the time. Because they're like, hey, you sell a house for under market value in this market? Yeah, because A, nobody wants to buy that house for over market value. And B, you would sell the house to get rid of it because you don't want people driving by all the time.
It's going to be like a...
See, those are like...
It's going to be like a destination, kind of like you look at it like Sturbridge Village. You're just going to go and take a look around, buy some moccasins, and that's it.
Listen, I'm not professing a verdict one way or another, but some of the theories that you come up with are just open-ended questions. They're not like... There's no hard fact behind what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're just making speculation.
Which is the driving force behind, behind reasonable doubt.
But it's the when as soon as you start opposing people, all of a sudden you're like, how could you not believe this particular narrative?
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Yeah.
That like if you have like an alternative opinion about this case.
Yeah.
That people that have their own opinion about this case get so damn angry that you might have some sort of other opinion.
What are you so invested in? You know how many other people have been on trial? There's people who have been convicted, and 30 years later they find out that they were innocent of the thing because new evidence had come to light.
Why are we angry about those situations?
That's what I'm talking about. But everybody seems so invested on something that, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's a form of entertainment.
Listen, it's a good story. It's got people all worked up and everything. Turtle Boy is involved in it somehow. But there's like 15 other cases going on in the state of Massachusetts that are probably just as interesting as this one. Yeah. And no one gives a rat's ass about any of them.
No, because we've been focused on this.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I can't believe the thing these are the things that are surprising things about this case. I can't believe how many interviews she's done that Karen Reed has done throughout, the documentaries and the interviews and it's like, what
you can't win either way. If she doesn't do the interviews, people are going to accuse her of she's hiding something.
Yeah, but
if she does them, they're like, she's saying too much.
But I also think making a spectacle. I think that's exactly right. You are making a spectacle of yourself. If you say too much, that's when the leaks start coming. That's when people start to doubt you. Because you've said something, and then you go back to a previous documentary where you said something completely different. That has happened. But nobody talks about that portion of it.
Well, you've seen these cases where, so the potential suspects, will do a press conference.
Yeah.
Or they'll talk to the media. And the immediate reaction is to not believe them or disbelieve them. It's like, I don't know, man. I mean, who reacts that way after the whole house full of people have been killed?
And then, because that's a gaslighting type of thing.
That's the whole thing. Is we just attach the meaning to things without really understanding the context in which statements are sometimes made. Sometimes it's a lawyer that prepares that statement.
And again, I will be clear. I'm not, pitting a verdict one way or another. My joke was, I think she's guilty when she opened her taunting mouth. Did I hit him with the cow? Did I hit him with the cow? That's the joke portion of it.
There are a lot. Listen, I grew up 2 towns over from Taunton. Yeah. There's loads of reasons to be suspicious of people that live in the Silver City. But I'm telling you right now, there are people in the state that are convinced of one way or another without knowing enough.
And I've also said this before too. I'm not defending any of the people that were in that house. Like, they're all horrible people. If you watch all those documentaries, every single one of them has some sort of thing about them that it's unlikable. But to be on a side where you're just you can't listen to anything else other than a speculative theory about what happened.
Right.
She's totally innocent. Is she? That's the thing that you have to kind of. You have to weigh that on both sides, and to do that and to try to taint a jury in a way, because is it even going to be a fair trial?
Yeah, I'm also the kind of person, maybe it's just because I just don't care enough about any one particular news story. I would never become one of those people that's going to stand outside an overpass with a sign that says "Free Turtle Boy" or "Free Karen Reed."
Not even just the overpass. This man's family, the victim in this case, his family members, his mother,
the kids.
Yeah,
his brother's his siblings' kids.
But here you go with the mother, like they're harassing her. Like what kind of balls does it take on you to go and try to harass somebody who lost their son?
Yeah.
Whether you feel one way or another about the case,
and that family
doesn't say very much about you as a person.
And that family's experienced more than its share of loss.
Yeah,
over the years.
It's
ridiculous.
Hey, by the way, we got Don Jovi tickets.
Yes, Don Jovi is going to be at 52 Sumner tonight. Show's at 8 o'clock. Doors open at 7. You haven't been to a show at 52 Sumner? Do yourself a favor. It's a great venue to see a show. And 10th caller right now at 293-1021. We'll get to go. It's just about 8:59 on Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 9/11 and Jimi Hendrix with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny and nice today with a high of 74. Tomorrow, not so good. Cloudy with a high of 80, and then crap on Saturday with a high of 64 and rain. It's whatever in downtown Springfield. Hey, ready for some fun, Bax?
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life.
The backs of life.
The backs of life.
The backs of life.
We're not always kings and queens.
No, you're not always kings and
Sometimes
queens.
we just
All right, you ready for
I'm
number
ready.
one?
Number one.
A random fact for you. The MLB team that has had the most in-season babies is the Cleveland Guardians. Since the paternity list was instituted in 2011, Cleveland has had 27 players go on leave, more than any other team. The LA Angels have had the least, with just 6 paternity absences. I got a buddy who's into that.
Is into that kind of thing. Sure.
Well, with the LA Angels only having 6, that makes sense. I've seen their batting averages. Nobody's scoring. Number two. You've promised that you won't use Apple's music app to make nuclear or chemical weapons, and you don't even realize it. There's a line in the terms and conditions that you agreed to that prohibits that.
I didn't even realize that was an option.
Also, imagine trying to get taken down by Homeland Security for trying to drop a bomb like Taylor Swift. Imagine that, Bax.
Well, I mean, that last album wasn't that great.
Well, it's a part of her poetic story.
A lot of devastation and destruction.
Number three. Canadians are so polite that this is necessary. In Ontario, Canada, there's a law saying that sorry is not an admission of guilt.
It's just an admission of sorrow.
Right. And honestly, if Canada ever invades a country, they'll probably start the war with a note that says sorry in advance, eh? Number four. Before Hugo Boss became an international fashion company, they made uniforms for the Nazis. No one knew until 1997 when the company showed up with a list of Swiss bank accounts, and the company admitted their Nazi ties. Which just proves no matter how sleek the suit, there's always a skeleton in the walk-in closet. Let me collect myself before we get to number 5. Number 5. Americans always picture Godzilla being green. But in the Japanese movies, he was never green. He was always charcoal gray.
Yes.
It's like finding out Kermit was originally beige and we've been projecting swamp energy on him this whole time.
Big swamp energy.
And that's your fun facts for your Bax of Life today. Congratulations.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life.
It's 9:15 on Rock 102.
GG